Hello everyone, my name is Cruz Montemer, and today I'm going to be critiquing the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. A little bit about myself. My name is Cruz Montemer, and I'm currently employed by the Texas Department of Public Safety as a facilitator. What is a facilitator, you might ask? Well, a facilitator is an employee whom is tasked with training and mentoring all of the new employees. This is a position that is appointed by supervisors who entrust you to lead and train all of the new hirees. Here's a little more information on the background of the book. Blink by Malcolm Gladwell was originally published in 2005 by the New York Little and Brown Company. Some key features that this book contains are a note section that contains references, a question and topics page related to the chapters, an about the author page, and some illustrated designs. Introduction. Why did I choose this book? I found Malcolm Gladwell's book interesting, as one of the main elements and foundation of the book is paying attention to detail. Paying attention to detail is an important life skill and has been a big part of my life ever since I have served in the Navy, and ultimately influenced my choice in critiquing this book. What is the intention and scope is indicated by the introduction. The intention of the introduction is to get the point across that even experts can be fooled on subject matter in their field if they fail to notice the minute details. Is the language and approach suitable for graduate level study? Mr. Gladwell uses appropriate language in his book in regards to graduate level study. Additionally, he mentions sources and case studies in his approach. Is the author's work relevant to your interest and/or the interest of your readers or classmates? As I had mentioned earlier, the author's work directly relates to something I value, which is attention to detail. This can be beneficial to readers and classmates as well, since those skills can be used on assignments such as this one. Summary. The statue that didn't look right. The author begins the book by describing a statue that was purchased by the J. Paul Getty Museum. In 1983, the J. Paul Getty Museum was propositioned by an art broker to purchase a statue that he claimed to be an authentic 6th century Coros Greek statue. The museum curators were initially suspicious of the purchase, but after months of standardized testing procedures had been passed by the statue, they had agreed to purchase it. While being displayed at the museum, many world-renowned experts noticed that there was something off. Eventually, the statue was deemed a fake. What was the author's thesis? The story of the fake Greek Coros sculpture solidifies the author's thesis or main idea that subtle details can have a significant impact. Continuation of the summary. The author covers many topics and key points in the book, which would be difficult to cover in a timely manner. However, one key point that stood out to me was in Chapter 5, which was about understanding what people want. In the segment titled The Pepsi Challenge, Mr. Gladwell describes how the Pepsi company became competitive with Coca-Cola in the 1980s with the Pepsi Challenge commercials. In these commercials, consumers did a blind taste test in which they chose Pepsi to be this better, smoother tasting cola. Looking to innovate, Coca-Cola changed their recipe to New Coke, which is now infamous as a PR disaster for the company. Another key concept introduced was the importance of not judging a book by its cover. In Chapter 3, there's a segment titled Taking Care of the Customer. In this segment, Gladwell describes a successful car salesman who attributes his success to treating all of the customers the same, and not prejudging from attributes such as how well they dress or what kind of car they drove. Critique. Upon reading the book, I had found that there are certain theories in Gladwell's work that apply to my own life experiences. Since I do have to interact with customers on a daily basis, I can utilize the concepts introduced in the taking care of the customer portion, since outward appearances oftentimes have a little bearing on the background of the customer. The lessons learned from taking care of the customer can be applied to my current line of work, as well as anyone who works with a customer base. While I only covered a portion of the scenarios that were presented in Malcolm Gladwell's text, There are many more examples included that share a common theme. Many of the examples are situational in nature. This means that while a lot of the situations presented may embody similar concepts, they are eventually resolved by different means which are unique to the person in the story. The leadership approach in the Northhouse text that suits Malcolm Gladwell's book the most is a situational approach. The situational approach. According to the Northhouse text, the situational approach is constructed around the idea that followers move forward and backward along the developmental continuum, which represents the relative competence and commitment of followers. For leaders to be effective, it is essential that they determine where followers are on the developmental continuum and adapt their leadership styles so they directly match their style to that development level. How is this applicable to Gladwell's work? This can be applied to the situation of the car salesman who learned that the best approach to customer service was to treat all the customers equally and not base his approach on appearances. Likewise, the situation can be misread, like when the Coca-Cola company tried to change its formula based on the Pepsi challenge. Recommendation. Would I recommend this book? I can say with certainty that I would definitely recommend this book to my peers. What did you hope to get out of this book? Upon beginning the book, I was hoping to get a better understanding about decision making and attention to detail based on reading the title and short synopsis. Were your expectations met? Mr. Gladwell's book definitely exceeded my expectations as I learned that there was so much more to decision making and attention to detail than I had previously thought possible. What surprised you? What surprised me most about the book was how Mr. Gladwell introduced topics based on life experiences and the experiences of others, which made for a much more enjoyable read, as there were interesting stories to go along with the topics that were being introduced. In conclusion, even if you're an expert in your field, it is possible to make mistakes from something as small as missing some fine details. So take that extra time to go over every little thing, especially if something seems to be off. Likewise, it is important to listen to your intuition, such as the museum curators who had a bad feeling about the Greek coral statue that wound up being a fake. Don't judge a book by its cover. Outward appearances are not a true moniker of who a person really is, and people should be treated equally and fairly. It can be difficult to determine what people really want. Just because one method worked for someone doesn't mean it will work for you as well, such as with Coca-Cola changing up the formula based on the Pepsi challenge. I would like to thank the audience for taking the time to listen to my review of Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. Here are some of the resources that I used for my review.